Who doesn't imagine their retirement days to the backdrop of Escape by Rupert Holmes?
If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain.
Sipping on pina coladas sounds great, but sometimes things aren't as nice as they seem. Well, I've rounded up 10 countries American retirees are leaving because it's been anything but peaceful. From finding yourself isolated among foreigners to being at risk of contracting environmental diseases, I need to talk to you about places you should be wary of. Mexico. As much as we love quesadillas, I need to talk to you about Mexico's lesser prized attributes. First off, the internet might not be your best buddy, especially if you're out in the urban area. If you're close to your grandkids, then those video chats will be a pain in the head. When the rainy season does come, it just brings along a bucket load of more challenges. Get ready for muggy air and tropical storms. Plus, summers are scorchers. And don't get me started on the electric bills if you're cranking up the AC. You'll also need to brush up on your Spanish if you want to get by. Trust me, it's a game changer. Because otherwise, even mundane bills and doctor's appointments will require a language translator. So while retiring in Mexico can bring about some fantastic opportunities and experiences, it's important to be aware of these factors to make an informed decision. Canada. Healthcare in Canada is something that's renowned for being easy on the pockets and accessible. But there's more to this place than good manners and Ryan Reynolds.
Again. You know what he'd say? He'd say that I had it all figured out before you got here.
To begin with, there is no formal retirement visa in Canada. Instead, you can apply for a visa for immigration or have a spouse, child, or grandchild sponsor you. Then there's the issue of inflation. Canada is not cheap, and if you want to retire in style, then avoid Toronto or Vancouver, where urban areas demand $1.4 million for a decent home. Even when it comes to taxes, things can get complicated. US citizens living in Canada may still owe US taxes on their American retirement income as well as any other Canadian earned income. So pick your conflicts wisely. Germany. If I tell you what the German word for squirrel is, you won't believe me. But that's exactly what I mean. Language is a huge barrier here. While many Germans do know English, getting by without a strong command of their language can be difficult. Then there's the factor of the cost of living. Germany, particularly in big cities such as Munich and Frankfurt, can be expensive. Everything from housing to healthcare and daily spending can be more expensive than you're accustomed to in the United States. Managing international tax laws, particularly those about pensions, may be a genuine hassle. It's critical to seek counsel from a tax professional with international experience. While the German healthcare system is wonderful, understanding it may require some investigation. And when it comes to residency or visa requirements, be prepared for a lot of paperwork. You will most likely be required to provide proof of a solid salary, adequate health insurance, and other documentation. Colombia. There's more to this city than just women who look like Sofia Vergara. For instance, if your Spanish is rocky, then say goodbye to any ease you've ever dreamt of. Communication can be frustrating, especially since English speakers are less common here compared to other countries. Learning the language is a slow process, and not everyone has a natural knack for it. Another big issue, particularly for the elderly, is access to medications and regular medical treatment. The Colombian healthcare system might be perplexing. Some prescriptions may not be available at all, and scheduling appointments necessitates a multi-step process involving numerous documentation and in-person visits. Navigating this system can be difficult. Getting around Colombia can also be difficult. Traveling can be a sticky affair due to the lack of cross-country freeways and badly maintained roads plagued with potholes. Directions can be difficult to follow. Addresses aren't always rational, and depending on a map may not get you very far. Robberies and other violent crimes, as well as tourist frauds, are frequent in urban areas. In general, if you're a victim of a robbery, you should not resist. Firearms are widely available in Colombia, and disagreements can quickly turn violent. So move here if you're a person whose patience hasn't been tested enough in their youth. Spain. If you've never understood the bull run, chances are you'll have a hard time fitting in here. Here, too, Spanish is the official language, and English is not widely spoken, especially outside of major tourist areas. This can make it difficult to communicate with locals and navigate everyday life, especially for retirees who are not fluent in Spanish. Not to mention, you might just find yourself at risk of petty crime. Tourist areas and popular attraction sites lure out people with nimble hands. If you're not careful, any valuables in your pocket will be gone before you know it. But maybe what sets Spain and the States most apart is the lifestyle. While people live to hustle and excel in their professional and personal lives in the US, Spain's lifestyle operates on slow-mo. This can be a challenge for retirees who are used to their way of life. Oh, and if you contract a nasty viral flu, while you are provided excellent healthcare, there can be long wait times to see a specialist. Additionally, retirees may need to purchase supplemental health insurance to cover any gaps in coverage from Medicare. Also, if you think moving here will offer you a life of quiet and serenity, then you're in for a rude awakening. The country is known for its social life, and you are bound to run into large crowds and booze every now and then. Italy. Yes, you can eat, pray, and love here, but don't fall into this trap. The cost of living in Italy is generally higher than in other European countries, such as Spain or Portugal. This is especially true in major cities like Rome and Milan. According to Numbeo, a cost of living database, the overall cost of living in Rome is 23.24% higher than in New York City. That's hard to believe, right? Even rent in Rome is 42.19% higher than in NYC. Applying for a visa here or residence permit is painstaking, and it's usually advised that you hire a legal consultant. Sadly, if you have any lung or heart diseases and believe you'll get to inhale non-polluted air, you're in for a surprise. According to the World Air Quality Index, Rome's air quality is considered moderate to poor on most days. Also, if your vocabulary only has the words pasta and carbonara in it, you're going to be struggling a lot. Italians pride themselves on their heritage and language and do not care to converse in English at all. United Kingdom. If you desire to retire in the United Kingdom as an American, you might believe the transition will be simple because everything is in English. The United Kingdom does provide certain benefits to retirees, but many parts of life there require some adjustment, from the metric system to the moist, chill-to-the-bones environment. Firstly, Americans can visit as tourists for up to 6 months, but to stay longer, you'll need to qualify for a visa. This could be through family ties, business connections, or having the right of abode in the country. However, owning property or making investments doesn't guarantee residency. While the UK offers a rich cultural experience, it comes at a cost. The country is known for its higher living expenses compared to places like Spain or Latin America. London in particular stands out as one of the most expensive cities globally. Rent, transportation, and groceries are considerably higher there. And when it comes to healthcare, American retirees will not have access to the UK's national health services for non-emergencies. This means you'll need to purchase private health insurance, similar to what you'd do in the US. In hindsight, the US doesn't sound so bad now, does it? Panama. You've always heard about this city, but what's going on here? First and foremost, leaving behind established family bonds and long-standing friendships can be emotionally challenging. The language barrier is another significant consideration. Without a grasp of Spanish, navigating daily life, from shopping to scheduling appointments, can be really frustrating. Panama's reliance on cash transactions over credit cards may require adjustments to one's financial practices. The rainy season, with its heavy downpours, will easily dampen any plans you have for the day. High humidity levels, while controllable, can have an impact on personal comfort and electronics. Furthermore, the regular daylight patterns near the equator may need adjustments to everyday routines. To add to that, dengue epidemics can occur in Panama, so you'd need to take precautions like netting, insect repellent, and rigorous hygiene to avoid the sickness. Finally, while defects exist, they might not be as big as one might assume. It's critical for Americans considering retiring in Panama to thoroughly analyze these considerations to make an informed decision. Portugal. Of course, the language barrier exists here as well, notably with European Portuguese, which is even more difficult to get a grip on. More so, any bureaucratic work happens at a leisurely pace and requires you to hire a legal consultant who can guide you through the steps for permits and visas. Property costs can be too expensive, particularly in cities like Lisbon and seaside districts. Foreigners may have difficulty obtaining good mortgage rates. Not to mention, you'll rub shoulders with more tourists than you've ever seen. Due to restricted facilities and infrastructure, country life may necessitate changes. While Portugal has many advantages, being aware of the potential disadvantages will help you make an informed decision about relocating. Australia. For starters, the Great Outback will cut you off from the rest of the world. Being surrounded by water on all sides means long flights just to reach neighboring countries. For instance, a direct flight from Sydney to Los Angeles takes over 14 hours. Even road trips can be epic. Think 40 hours of non-stop driving from Sydney to Perth. So if you're keen on being close to family and friends, Australia's distance can be a deal breaker. Unsurprisingly, the continent hasn't escaped the effects of inflation. As of 2022, the inflation rate has risen to 7.2% and shows no signs of coming down. And I have to mention, Australia has the most skin cancer incidences compared to anywhere else in the world. Unfortunately, it's because of the scorching heat that can easily break a thermometer. So if you do move, pack your sunscreens. So are you rethinking your plans to retire in one of these places? Let me know in the comments down below. If you liked this video, please subscribe to my channel for more travel-related content. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.